Glad to have you on board. You taking time out of your schedule to hop on our podcast. Appreciate that.
No problem.
So Brittany, is definitely an honor to be speaking with an Olympian, obviously. At Heavy Brand Podcast, our podcast started off with finding a means to motivate and inspire youth back home in Detroit. And we felt that it was more impactful to have people share their real life stories, some of their challenges, rather than just going up to kids telling them stay off the streets or don't. It's better to have them hear stories from people.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So now, Brittany, I'm gonna put you on the spot early and often. Share with the good people a little bit about Brittany Reese, what she's all about. It's not every day that we get to hear from Olympians, so kind of share a little bit about your background, please.
So I'm from Mississippi, but I was born in California. So I'm a Southern girl at heart. But what I'm all about is I just love to compete. I've been competing. I've been in sports for a very long time, and I just love to win and love to compete. It gives me joy. So that's what I'm really all about: competing and being strong-minded, being positive, and basically just about having peace. There's a lot of things going on in the world today, right now, and I feel like a lot of things could be solved if we just all respected each other and just be kind. It doesn't take a lot out your day to be kind to someone. So that's kind of basically what I'm all about.
Okay, excellent. Share with us a little bit about how you made the transition from basketball and track to just track. So you were a hooper at one point in time.
Oh yeah, basketball is my first love. That's something that I grew up doing first, and track and field was just supposed to be something to do while basketball was over. And my grandfather was the one who basically told me to go try out track, and then it also the influence of my basketball friends of we're all going to go run track. And I was like, okay, shoot, I'll run. So the first practice, I was like, oh no, I'm done. We did all this running, all these 400s, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I told my grandpa he didn't have to come pick me up or anything because I was done with track. He was like, oh no, no, you ain't. Brought me right on back out there, and so yeah, it was a tough process because I ended up balancing them both out in high school. Took a scholarship to University of Mississippi out of high school, but because of grade situations, I ended up going to a community college to play basketball for. It was supposed to be in 1 year, but the team was we was pretty decent. I was like, I don't want to let them down, so I stayed another year. And
was that Gulfport?
Yes, it was a Gulf Coast Community College. It was maybe 25 minutes from Gulfport.
Oh,
so I went there for 2 years, and a situation happened where my teammates got in trouble, and a lot of them got in trouble at once. And we ended up going to our trying to go to nationals with basically 6.5 people. And I say half because one of the athletes was hurt. So,
oh no,
so we had 6.5 people going to a big game, and it devastated me because I'm I gave y'all a year of, I could have been gone, and I gave y'all a year and sacrificed a year and stayed, and y'all do wrong, and we don't have an opportunity to advance to the nationals. So at that point, I had a conversation with my mom, and I had basketball offers, and I could have still chose where I wanted to go. And she basically sat me down and said, if you want to make yourself go with track and field, if you want to rely on the team, stay with basketball. And at that time, I was like, I'm over basketball. I'm over relying on the team. I just want to kind of focus on myself now. And I took another scholarship back to the University of Mississippi. So that's kind of how I transitioned from basketball to track.
So you wanted to control your own destiny a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Beautiful. How was the recruiting process? Because from time to time on this Heavy Brand podcast, we get DMs from some of the seniors and even some of the juniors, and oftentimes I don't have very good advice for them. I've been out of college for like 20 years. So how was that process for you?
For me, I think that's one of the biggest things I kind of regret. I probably would have still ended up where I was at, but I wish I would have taken all my visits. I only took 2 and made a decision. I feel like I should have took all those visits. So I kind of, but growing up and like seeing the process and how it's being played out for like athletes, not even just track athletes, but for basketball, for football, like take those visits, like go see these campuses, they're free. And at least just put a top 5, and those are your top 5 that you'll choose from, and find the best fit for you. Find the coach that you feel that can make you make your dreams or your goals and things happen, that gives you that best opportunity. You don't want to just go somewhere because that college is fun. Make sure, like, also, even if the college is great in track and field, but do they have your major? Because you have to think outside of track and field, you still have to be a student. So make sure both of the colleges have both of the things, a good education, that you'll get a good degree, and that can help you succeed in life.
Thank you for sharing that. As far as your first Olympics, take us back, 2012, London. What was your mindset going into your first Olympics? Were you kind of like, okay, I already know I'm one of the favorites, I'm good, or is it more along the lines of, okay, this is a different stage, how am I going to handle that?
So 2008 was my first Olympics. I just didn't win anything. I think I placed 5th. And so it all leads up from there. From 2008, I placed 5th. And on the way back from the stadium, I was crying because, like I told you earlier, I'm a competitor, and I felt like I didn't compete to my best ability. And I made a promise to myself to never get left off a podium again. And so I worked real hard and ended up winning all these championships. And the last stage was 2012. Like you've done everything you could in the world stage, as winning every world championship, indoor and outdoor, leading up to this final moment. So I felt, yes, I was heavy favorite, but I wasn't worried about being the favorite. I was worried about executing and worried about winning that gold, because that was the last thing that I was missing in my trophy case. Basically, was an Olympic medal. I didn't have that. So it felt to me that leading up to that, winning all these world championships was just setting me up for this opportunity here to win a gold medal.
Awesome. Interestingly, we had Tiana Bartoletta last summer on the podcast, and we were kind of talking about a day in the life of an Olympian. Like, is it more genetics, or is it combination of genetics, nutrition, hard work? So Brittany, what is your typical day in the life like? Do you eat like an all vegan diet, fruits, vegetables, or how do you handle that?
I'm one of those athletes you would never have to, that never has to worry about their diet. Now, this is rare. Like, a lot of athletes don't, like, they consume what they consume, they track, they do all that. I don't have to do none of that. Like, for some reason, I've never gained a lot of weight. I've always been where like over the summer, I usually lose a lot because of, it's hot. And during the fall and winter months, I gain a little bit more, which is what I want. Like, I know that I'm going to lose weight over the summer. So I try to make sure I gain a lot of weight in that time frame. So I want to be around like 143, because I know once the summer comes, I'm going to be 140, 139, which is what I've been my almost like entire professional career. So for me, I'm one of those athletes that don't have to worry about that. Now, it's real rare, like I said.
Now, from from the pro level, I assume it's a little bit different when you're picking like your shoe of choice.
Mhm.
Are there certain shoes that work well with you when you're planting your feet and you're taking off and you're landing? Or do you go more along with like whichever shoe brand that you have a contract with? How does
Yeah.
that work?
So for me, it's basically I'm a Nike athlete, so I really kind of have no choice but to deal with the type of shoes that they give us. But I had the opportunity to work with Nike on the new shoes that are out now, the new jump spikes that are out now. So those are something that I've been testing with Nike for the past couple of years. So it's kind of like a little bit of my flavoring mixed with their flavor. Other than that, like I love the new shoes. I like I said, I've been testing them for a while, and I feel like they give us what we would need in a legal way.
What's the brand? What's the type of Nike shoe?
It's just a Nike long jump spike. It's like the Nike
Okay.
Elite. It's a Nike Elite long jump
Okay.
spike. Yeah.
And for all our sports heads that tap in, so we want to get a little bit, not to steal some of your secrets, but Brittany, how do you feel about plyometrics and how much of that takes a part in your training?
I'm really big on plyometrics. It's something that we do weekly, maybe twice a week, probably, depending on what we're doing that week. But we're really heavy on plyometrics. A lot of box jumps, coming off boxes, coming onto boxes, tosses, ball tosses, like all those type of stuff that we feel. And we do plyometrics in the weight room where we're lifting weights and coming onto a box, or we'll squat and jump onto a box. Like it all correlates into our training. So as for me, like I feel like plyometrics work for me. And I know a lot of athletes don't do it, but if I was a coach and for me, like I feel like plyometrics, and if you know how to coordinate it correctly in training, could be really effective.
Excellent. What about the weightlifting? For long jump, I guess you want to work on taking off, taking off quickly,
Mhm.
having very brief contact on the floor with your feet.
Mhm.
What are some of your better routines that really work for you?
Well, for us, like we do like the original all the Olympic lifts. But a lot for us, everything is quick. A lot of things that we do are quick. We'll do squats, but there'll be like half squats, and it's more popping up, like more getting up. We'll do a lot of like I said, box stuff. We'll squat and then we'll go do a drill that requires you just basically jump on the box. We do a lot of single leg squats, a lot of single leg things to strengthen the legs single better. But for the majority of the part, I think we do a lot of what everyone else do, besides just adding a little bit more plyometrics or a little bit more drill that like a box step up that can help you work on posture coming off the board. So things like that.
Brittany, obviously you're no stranger to the Olympics. Now, outside of your sport or track and field, are there any other Olympic athletes throughout your trips to the Olympics that you look back and say, it was really an honor to meet them, or they really motivate me, or they really inspire me?
You got to go with all the greats. I forgot his name. I just had it. Michael Phelps. I always wanted to see him, but I didn't never get the opportunity. Gabby in the gymnastics. We got tons of great girls and women in the gymnastics that I didn't, get inspired to see. One person I'm really looking forward to seeing this year is Coco Gauff. Like the tennis. Like, I really want. Yeah. So I wrote this on Twitter the other day. Like I'm trying to see her. Hopefully they let us. Because in the past Olympics we can get tickets to go watch others. So hopefully, I'm that's on my bucket list. Like I'm trying to watch her. She's a beast with it. So that's that's probably the couple of ones that I would like to see and like look up to and love to watch compete.
Awesome. And I see on social media there's a photo with you and Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. Um,
Mhm.
how was your interaction with Kobe? Was it real brief, or was it like for
Yeah.
a few minutes?
For us, it was real brief. We were all, I think that was 2008. We were all in the room, and we were all in the room with all the basketball players. Anybody that was in the Olympics to lose. I think at that point we was getting ready to meet the president, and he just had us all in one room where we could shake his hand and he could tell us good luck and things like that. So we all ran over there like, oh, Kobe, oh, LeBron. Like, I got tons of pictures with almost the whole team. So Kobe with his situation, rest in peace. But I will always cherish that photo, whether we had a conversation or not. I got a picture with him. So
and with that whole tragedy, sharing with some of our young people, don't take life for granted. Don't take your opportunity
definitely,
for granted.
most definitely, live in the moment.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, obviously you're barely 34 or 35, but if you were to do an autobiography, Brittany, what would be the title of your autobiography and why? See, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, it'll have to be Unleash the Beast. I mean, it's been my motto for years. So I think that probably would. I am going to hopefully be able to write a book when I retire and sit down and get a good one in. But it definitely have to be Unleash the Beast.
What advice, Brittany, would you give for student athletes that dream of competing at the highest levels? What real life, unfiltered advice would you give to them?
In this day and age, I would say you got to work, you got to grind for it, because at this point, USA is the hardest team to make, and it's not easy to make it. You have to put in the work and study your event and be put in those positions, because a lot of people don't want to compete against the top athletes. I always wanted to be. That's why I went professional early out of college. Like, I wanted to compete against the best athletes, because I knew if I had this dream of being an Olympian or being a world champion, I had to compete against those girls that were better than me. So don't run from competition. Like, give yourself the opportunity to get better and better each track meet, and just trust the process. Don't rush it. Just improve, set yourself goals, realistic goals, and try to crush them.
I appreciate you, Brittany, for being real with our viewers. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I don't want to say I wish you luck for Tokyo, because luck is kind of like you're kind of on the fence. Just continual blessings to what you do on and off the track. Any other, if you ever do another BRE scholarship, whatever you're doing with the young people, please continue doing it. We need more people of color in your position that's giving back. Thank you so much, Brittany.
Thank you.
All right, we shall meet again. See ya.